What if the most powerful thing on earth isn't an army, a government, or a leader, but an illusion, a symbol printed on paper, a digital number in a screen, a belief so deeply rooted that it holds entire nations together, yet could vanish with a single loss of faith? This is the story of how the US dollar became the world's most powerful illusion, an illusion backed not by gold, but by control, trust, and fear. But to understand how this illusion was created, we have to go back to the moment when money stopped being real. Before the illusion, money had weight. It jingled in pockets and gleamed in vaults. Each dollar once represented a specific amount of gold or silver, a tangible promise. In 1913, that promise began to change. That year, the United States quietly passed the Federal Reserve Act, creating a private central bank that would control the supply of US currency. The Federal Reserve wasn't part of the government. It was a system, an alliance between the government and powerful bankers designed to stabilize the economy. But in truth, it was the first major step toward separating money from reality. The dollar would no longer be a direct measure of wealth. It would represent it, and over time, that representation became the illusion itself. During the 1940s, the world was on fire. Nations were destroyed, empires collapsed, and in the ashes of war, a new financial order had to be built. Enter the Bretton Woods Conference of 1944, a meeting in New Hampshire where delegates from 44 nations gathered to decide how money would work after the war. The deal they made changed everything. The US dollar would become the anchor of the global financial system, pegged to gold at $35 per ounce. Every other currency would be tied to the dollar. Why the dollar? Because at that time, the US held over 2/3 of the world's gold reserves. The dollar wasn't just paper, it was gold by proxy. Trust in America was trust in money. But beneath the celebration, something was already breaking. As other nations rebuilt, the US printed more dollars than it had gold to back. The illusion was growing quietly, invisibly. By the late 1960s, foreign governments started noticing a disturbing pattern. The math didn't add up. There were far more dollars in circulation than gold in the vaults at Fort Knox. Countries like France began demanding gold instead of dollars. They saw the illusion forming and wanted out. On August 15, 1971, President Richard Nixon addressed the nation in a historic broadcast. With calm authority, he announced the temporary suspension of the dollar's convertibility to gold. That temporary move never ended. It was the moment the world's money officially became faith-based. From that day forward, the dollar, and by extension every other major currency, was backed not by gold, but by confidence. It wasn't a store of value anymore. It was a belief system. When you remove gold, something else has to fill the vacuum, and that something was debt. The post-1971 world saw an explosion of credit, loans, and government borrowing. Money wasn't limited by metal anymore. It was limited only by how much debt the system could sustain. Here's the trick. Every dollar in existence today is created through debt. When you take out a loan, new money is created, literally typed into existence by a bank. It's not the government printing money, it's commercial banks multiplying it. That's the magic and the danger of fractional reserve banking. The illusion deepened. The global economy began to revolve not around producing value, but around managing debt. The United States became the biggest debtor in history. Yet somehow its currency became stronger. Why? Because the illusion had now gone global. Everyone was in on it. After losing gold, the US needed a new way to make the dollar indispensable. In 1974, a secret deal was struck between the US and Saudi Arabia. The arrangement was simple. Saudi Arabia and eventually all OPEC nations would sell oil only in US dollars. In return, the US would provide military protection and support. It was a masterstroke. Every nation now needed dollars, not for gold, but to buy energy. The illusion gained armor. As long as oil flowed, the dollar ruled. America could print money endlessly, export inflation, and fund its wars, while other nations held its paper as reserves. The world's most powerful illusion had become self-sustaining. Fast forward to today, the illusion has gone fully digital. The printing press is now a keyboard, and money creation happens at the speed of a click. In 2008, when the financial system nearly collapsed, the Federal Reserve injected trillions into the economy through quantitative easing. The world was saved, but at a cost. The illusion grew larger. As of 2025, global debt exceeds $315 trillion, nearly 3 times the world's GDP, and yet the dollar remains strong. Why? Because the illusion has become global consensus. Every major economy holds US dollars. Every major bank clears transactions through the US system. Every commodity, oil, gas, metals, is priced in dollars. Even cryptocurrency markets, which were designed to escape fiat control, are still measured in dollars. The illusion isn't collapsing. It's evolving, but illusions come at a price. Inflation quietly erodes real wealth. The gap between printed prosperity and lived reality widens. Governments attempt to fix the system, raising interest rates, adjusting monetary policies, but these are surface-level tweaks. They don't address the root, money that no longer represents real value. The illusion requires constant expansion. If it stops growing, it collapses. And that's why every economic rescue, from 2008 bailouts to 2020 pandemic stimulus, simply deepens the illusion. We're trapped in a system that must print to survive, and every new dollar printed weakens the meaning of the old ones. Money isn't real, it's a story, a shared belief system maintained by trust, repetition, and control. Power now flows not from resources, but from who issues the illusion. The ability to create currency, not earn it, defines empires. Every every illusion has a breaking point. History shows that no paper standard lasts forever. Gold-backed, oil-backed, or digital, eventually, trust falters. And when it does, everything resets. The dollar-s illusion isn't just an American story, it's a global one. Every modern economy, every digital wallet, every trade agreement runs on faith. Faith that tomorrow the same piece of paper or the same line of code will still mean something. But what happens when belief fades? When nations stop playing along? When a new illusion rises to replace the old one? That moment isn't centuries away. It's approaching faster than we think. Understand the illusion before it understands you. Because in the world of modern finance, knowing the trick is the only real wealth left. If you found this story eye-opening, share it. Because the truth about money only spreads when people start asking the right questions.